TOPS Professional CC&R Control Info Setup. This course will walk through the initial control info setup for the TOPS CC&R module. We will discuss all of the different date settings along with the options for copying the CC&R control information from one community to another. To access the CC&R control info, we'll first click on CC&R and then Control Info. The CC&R Control Info window has two tabs, Reminders and Other Settings. Let's first go over the Reminders tab. Within this tab, there are two sections, Pending Requests and Next Inspection. Pending requests are for architectural change requests. Next inspection is for covenants violations. Within the Pending Request section, you can choose if you want TOPS to automatically set the respond by date on the CC&R record based on the date the record was created in the system. Typically, the create date is the date that the request for architectural change was received by the association. The respond by date is the date that the board must respond to the owner regarding their request for change. In some areas of the country, if an association doesn't respond to an owner within 30 days of receipt of the application, then it is automatically approved. This is why we'll keep our respond by date at the default of 25 days, just to be sure that doesn't happen. The Show Pending Reminder checkbox will give us further assurance that we get applications reviewed. This reminder will pop up every time we enter the CC&R module with a list of applications that are coming up for review. Let's change this number though so we get reminded a little sooner than 1 day before our respond by date. I think 5 days will work for me, but you can set your reminders to any time frame you'd like. Just like in the Pending Requests section, within the Next Inspection section, you can choose if you want TOPS to automatically set the next inspect date on the CC&R record based on the date the record was created in the system. For a violation, the create date is usually the date that the violation inspection was performed. So, the next action date would be the date that the violation needs to be re-inspected to see if it is still an outstanding issue. In this instance, I'm going to leave the default, which will set the next inspect date to the next action date, meaning that we'll be doing our next inspection on the same day that the next notice of the violation is scheduled to go out to the owner. This will then follow the action table associated with the CC&R code for the violation record. The Show Next Inspect Reminder checkbox will let us know when we're scheduled to do another inspection for violations within the community. Just like the pending reminder, this reminder will pop up every time we enter the CC&R module with a list of violations that are due for re-inspection. I like to do a little more advanced planning, so I don't think 1 day will give me enough time to plan my inspections. I'm going to change this reminder to 5 days so I can plan my week accordingly. Now we'll click on the Reminders button here to see what these reminders look like. First, we have our reminder for pending architectural requests. As you can see, we don't have any that are presently due for review. To view the next inspection reminders for violations, we'll just click this radio button, and you can see that we have one violation that is coming due for re-inspection. Now, let's take a look at the Other Settings tab. The first section here allows you to set your violation action method. Within the TOPS CC&R module, you can create CC&R codes for each of your violation types. These codes have action tables associated with them which allow you to automatically set the dates that the violations are due for re-inspection, and if the violation is still outstanding, which notice should be sent to the owner. This is an example of a CC&R code in TOPS. The action table is here, and the dates that we're talking about are here. We can set those action dates to either be based on the create date of the record or they can be based on the last action date on the table. I prefer to base my action dates on the last action date. This is because I may not perform my inspection on the exact date set up on the table. So, although I should do my inspections every 15 days, for example, if that 15th day is on a Saturday, then I may not inspect until the 17th day, which would be that Monday. By basing my action dates on the last action date, TOPS will automatically set my next inspection date to 15 days from when I performed my last inspection. If your action dates are based on the create date, then that next inspection would end up being 13 days after my last inspection because the inspection was performed 2 days late. For more information on CC&R codes, please view the separate CC&R codes class. Because I'm changing the calculation method for dates on my action tables, we receive a warning letting us know that TOPS will now recalculate all of the existing action dates to use the new method of last action. We'll click Yes to allow TOPS to convert our dates. We receive notification once the conversion has been completed. Our next setting allows us to lock general CC&R codes. This also relates back to the action table for our CC&R codes. You can set a general action table, which will have a set number of dates between violation inspections, which can be shared by multiple CC&R codes. This will save you time so you don't have to set the actions individually for each code. By locking the general code, you disable the ability to modify the general action table on a code-by-code basis. So, when creating a new CC&R code, if the general action type is selected, then that code must follow those actions as set out. They cannot be modified by the user at the CC&R code level. As a part of the CC&R process, you can allow TOPS to charge an owner a fee or fine for any of the action levels. That charge will default to the 03 Admin Fees Miscellaneous Charge Code. However, TOPS also allows you to specify a different code if you choose. To do that, we'll click on the drop-down arrow here, which will then bring up a listing of our miscellaneous charge codes. We have a charge code set up for CC&R fines, so that's the one we'll select. And then just click OK to complete the selection. Now you can see our CC&R charge code has been set to Miscellaneous Charge Code 13, CC&R Fines. At the bottom of our CC&R Control Info window, we have some buttons that perform different functions. The first button, Copy Codes, allows us to copy the CC&R codes from one community to another. This is useful if you have several communities within the same master association or district, and each community is subject to the same rules and regulations. To copy the codes, just click the drop-down arrow here and choose the source community or the community that you're copying from. Then choose the target community or communities that you would like to copy the codes to. Then you can choose whether you want to just copy the CC&R codes and general code info, or if you want to copy both the codes and the action tables. If you copy the codes and action tables, then this information will overwrite existing action table information with the copied info. Once the codes have finished copying, just click Exit to exit this function. Our next button, Section Building Number, relates back to the Section Phase Building field in our Owner, Maintain, Property Info window. That would be this field here, which we have named Building for this community. So, this Section Building Number function allows you to give names to all of the numbered sections or buildings or phases within the community. Then, when you print your CC&R ride list, the section names will print on that list, so you don't have to remember which section 002 was. To name your sections or buildings, just click in the edit box here, type in the section or building name, and click Save. Now we'll just select our second section, type in the name, and save that one too. Now you can see that both of our sections have been named. Our last button to discuss is the Copy Settings button. This button allows you to copy the CC&R control info settings that we've just completed from this community into another community. To do that, just select the communities at the top that you'd like to copy to and click the Begin button. Once we've completed all of our CC&R control info settings, we'll click OK to save the settings and exit this function. This completes our TOPS Professional CC&R Control Info Setup course. Thank you.